Alright, welcome guys. Today we're going to do a video over here in Ayutthaya. Anyway, I'm going to go through and I'm going to look at some of the smaller ruins. And I'm just going to do kind of a compilation video of that. So what I'm doing right now is I'm right in front of Wat Ayothaya. I think that's what it's called. But it's the literal translation of it is to not be warred against. And anyway, this area right here predates Ayutthaya by quite a bit. They actually think that there was people inhabiting this region around 600 AD, and then Ayutthaya wasn't founded until, the 1300s. So anyway, there was a kingdom of what they called like the Pagan or something like that that was here in this region. And so they built all their little settlements, and there's a humongous chetty that's right here that used to be one of the main chetties in this region. And I think at one time it was 30 meters tall, and so now we just have the base that's remaining. So they have the square base, or the pedestal that it sits on, and then you could see the chetty that went up, and it was, I believe, a Khmer style. And there's no stairwell to get up. You can see that there's like a walkway up around there, but there's no stairwell, so it's inaccessible. And this is actually built onto an active temple. So over in that part, there's actual monks that are in residence here that are still doing their thing. But I came over here to see the ruins of this. It's a nice view of it from the side. So the top of it is all gone. Don't know if it fell off from earthquakes or just time. And then they had another little chetty over here next to it. So not a whole lot of this original chetty and temple and everything is still intact. And you can see right here, at one time there were a stairway that went up there, but it's been removed, and so there's no way to access the top. You can still see a lot of the plaster on the chetty itself with all the molding. Yeah, this would have been really, really nice. And here's what's left of this little chetty. And then right next to it is the active part of the temple. You can see here it has the marker stones around. Let's go in there really quick and then we'll go to the next ruin. So I'm going to show you several of these little smaller sites that most people don't ever come to visit. It looks out in front of that main prayer hall. There's a little bit left of like the original wall. And then they have some more over there in that building. This is the main prayer hall at this Wat Ayothaya. So it has a nice Buddha in here, and the building itself is pretty plain. It's still nice. And it has a Chinese Buddha over here. Now this region here was actually occupied by the Burmese, and they controlled this whole part of the city for about 100 years. There's so much history just tied into fighting with the Burmese, back and forth for control of Thailand, and then the Thais fighting over into Burma, and the Thais going to Cambodia, the Khmer coming down here fighting. I mean, it was continuous back and forth. Now that other hall over there, there's not much inside of it. It's where the monks do their little ceremony, so we're not even going to go look in there. All right, let's go to the next temple. Okay, so our next stop after that Wat Ayothaya is Wat Dusidaram or something like that. Its literal translation is like I don't know, like solitude or to be content, I think is what it is. So anyway, right in front of it, there's an active part, and then there's an old ruined part that's out back. So let's take a look inside the active part, and then we'll go walk around and see the other part. So you can see it has the two guardians, and then the lights are pretty cool. They have the old mythical beasts, and then it has the like the Naga or the dragons coming around. Really like the guardians, they're quite cool. It's just right here on the road. So let's go inside this temple. This is the active part, and it has a massive chetty that's out back behind, away from the road. It's the front of that prayer hall. And you can see there's a nice Buddha inside of here. Family in here taking some pictures. There's no murals or anything, so it's just kind of plain. The Buddha's nice enough itself. So let's go outside and look at that. No country temple is complete without a bunch of chickens. You can see the little baby chick here, and then the others. And these are all the monk quarters and some places for some of the ceremonies and stuff. Got a monk out here making his broom. And another temple chicken. And over here is the crematorium. So there's quite a bit to this temple that's still active. And then right over here, this is the old ruined part. And I don't know if you can see, but right over the trees over there, that's that Wat Ayothaya. And that just shows you how many temples there are out here. So it's not too far from that one. But check out this massive, massive jetty that's in beautiful shape. So this is really spectacular. You can see where they had the cloth around it. Oh, it sounds like the train going towards Bangkok going by. So they had the cloth around the jetty, and then they had the smaller little jetties wrapped also. This is really beautiful. So this is in the Ayutthaya style. The bell shape. And there's, as same as always, these old ruins that the origins when they were built, you know, it's so confusing just because of all the records being lost after the Burmese destroyed Ayutthaya. So this is what I was looking for. So you can see the base, and then it has a set of stairs that goes up. So let's climb up there and look around. And then right behind it over here, they have a little building with some Buddhas. And then here you have a little chetty. So this has, I believe, the three tiers to the base that represents the 3 levels, like the hell, the earth, and the heaven. And you can see the plaster work right there. So the stairwell has been restored fairly recently. This is in good shape, but it is steep. Wow. Yeah, this is really cool. Got some wind up here, so it may hurt my recording. So you can see the detail work in the plaster, how they had it built. And some trees have taken root up there. This is spectacular. And then you can see off, there's the stairwell. So it's almost like climbing a ladder. It's almost straight up. And then over there is towards the main buildings of the temple. And you can see how much of this plaster was on there. I mean, it's 2 inches of that they had covering those bricks. And there's about a bajillion, that's a rough number, but about a bajillion bricks were used. Yeah, this is beautiful. You can see the crematorium sticking up in the trees over there. And the bell of the chetty. And over there, you can see the other chetty. So they had these on the 4 cardinal directions. Looks like the top's missing off of this one. You can see over here, this is what they would have all looked like. That one's in just about perfect shape. And then the rest of the temple grounds. There is another building over here. I'm not sure what's inside of it. We'll go look at that now. Right over behind that big chetty are all these newer chetties. And there's strings and stuff that they have all tied to these. So people can have ceremonies out here and the string ties them into like their ancestors or the spirit of the Buddha. There's a guy actually over there setting up. He's drawing the string and everything, getting everything ready for a little ceremony. He has a mat. So here's a Buddha footprint, and then the Buddhas themselves. And then on the other side, you have, here's the marker stones, and then here's the Chinese goddess, and then a Chinese Buddha. And then a bunch more Buddhas over here. And then let's go inside that building if we can get in there. This is a bummer. So this one is locked up. You can see the marker stones and all that around it. So I don't know if this building was one of the old buildings that they've rebuilt or if it's a fairly new construction, but I would assume they built it on the old foundation. You can see how it's built like a boat. I can see in some of the Ayutthaya style that resemble the Chinese junks. This temple was pretty cool. The chedi is amazing. Would like to have gotten into that little prayer hall, but maybe next time I come through I can get in there. All right, so let's go see the next little ruin. Okay, so here's our third little temple. This is Wat Bot Ratchadecha, or something like that. Now, the origins of this temple, again, are unknown. Nobody knows when this temple was originally built. There's not a whole lot left here. They haven't came back in and done pretty much anything. So you can see the base of the prayer hall. And then you can see the Buddha here. Now, this one here has a Buddha of a monkey and an elephant giving the Buddha gifts. And back here in the trees, and it's all completely unrestored, they think there was a chedi that was about 30 meters tall on the back side of this. You can see the top of it over there. And then there's nothing else really here as far as that they've excavated. And it's just surrounded by houses. But this would have been a massive temple, pretty similar to the Wat Ayothaya. But they don't know when this was built or pretty much anything about it. All right, so let's go to the next. Okay, so our last stop for these smaller little ruins, I believe this is called Wat Chang. So you can see behind me that there's some ruins that are scattered out and it's separated. You go across like a little ditch and then you can go over there and check out the ruins. So these are just an open air, free to come out and look around. So let's see what all is over here. So you can see what's left of one of the prayer halls and then a pretty good sized chedi with a wall and a couple of chedis that are in ruin. And then over there looks like a Buddha sitting up. So we go across this field here, so hopefully we won't get ate by a snake. If a snake gets me, I won't like it too much. And near here, it looks like they have an elephant stable. So you can see a couple elephants with the umbrellas and some people are riding them around. But I've been over through here before and it's like the elephant stables right there underneath those red roofs. I don't know if you can hire them out here or if they just keep them and then they let you ride them over in the main part of the historical park. So here's what's left of this. So it looks like this building was 2-story. There's windows up on the 2nd story and then it has like a little lotus doorway over here. And then there was another building just outside of it. But you can see how tall it was. Let's go inside and see what it looks like. Those are just windows that were way up high. And then you can see inside. Looks like it had some niches for some Buddha images in the wall. They would have been all around. Yeah, this definitely looks like it would have been 2 stories. Looks like underneath there would have been doorways there. And it looks like a floor or something would have been. And you can see how the doorway, it's a small little archway. And you can see some of the plaster on the wall. Looks like they had the lotus leaves in the plaster work. So you got to cross another little bridge to get over to the chedi. And as in normal Thai style, they do all this great work, they fix it up, and then they stop doing any maintenance, and everything just starts falling apart within a few years. So it's one of those things, you go across the bridge and you're worried about it falling in on you. All right, so this is quite nice. So this is the main chedi for Wat Chang. And then the other Buddha over there. So here's a good look at the main stupa. Now this was restored a little bit. They put new plaster on it, and then there's a stairwell that accesses the base of it from each of the 4 cardinal directions. And around the base they had elephants, which the elephants are, looks like they're pretty much all gone, but you can see what remains of them. So there would have been elephants all around the base of it. And then it looks like there would have been 4 chetties on the outside, and maybe a little chetty on each of the corners on the pedestal also. Looks like over there's the remains of a chetty. And over there we can see some elephants. I don't know if you can see those. Some people are riding them around. So that's why it would have got its name, is Wat Chang, because of the having elephants around the base of it. And then you can see some of the plasterwork. That's really thick up there. That plasterwork is 6-8 inches thick. You can hear the elephants bugling. But the condition of this is just, you know, it's in a falling down state. It's nothing really amazing. Just kind of cool. Out here in the middle of this big field is these ruins. But it just tells you how big Ayutthaya was. I mean, there was 1 million people in this area. It's incredible now, because Ayutthaya is kind of a small town. Small for Thai standards. This is a nice part of it where you can see all that plaster on the bell. Hopefully the wind isn't too much. And then looking over towards the other parts of the ruin. All right, let's see this Buddha and then we'll call it good. So here's the remains of the stairway. So it would have had the Naga coming right down here. It would have been on each side of the stairs. Okay, so here is the ordination hall, and it was 12 meters by 20 meters. And it has the entrance facing the east, and then it has the Buddha. Now they say that this building has been restored at least 2 times, according to the archaeological records. But there's not much remaining of it now. It'd be really nice if they did do a restoration again. I don't know what would have been down here in this this little pit. Kind of strange. And then as you can see, this is a nice picture. So people still come over here and leave offerings, and you can see what remains of the building. So these would have been the columns to support the roof, and then the walls would have housed this Buddha. And you can see all the partial Buddha statues that are still around. And like I've said in a couple of my other videos, you know, whenever all this was abandoned, vandals would come over, they would steal anything of value, and then they would decapitate those Buddhas. That's why you see so many Buddhas that are missing their heads. And I have no idea why they would have done that. And you can see the outside of this building. And then it would have had the marker stones, and then some more of the temple complex over there. So this would have been quite large. And I actually think it would have been a separate temple from that little one, the first one we looked at. All right, guys, so that finishes up our little 4 temple tour. That was pretty cool. Got to see a lot of these that are just so small, but you can just stop and take a quick look around and see what it looks like. But some pretty cool chetties and some cool ruins that are just out here, and nobody ever goes to them because they're just, you know, a small little thing out in a field like this. So hopefully you liked it. If you did, make sure you click like and subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. And if you want to see something different, or if you've been to some of these, leave me a comment down below. And if you want me to go make a video of something, I'm always open to suggestions, whatever you guys want to see. So as always, guys, remember, life is a journey. Enjoy.